Welcome back to Radio Entrepreneurs. My name is Jeffrey Davis, and we are continuing to share the success of entrepreneurship. And to do that, our next guest is Jeffrey Chizmas of Chizmas Ventures, correct?
That's correct. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. So, Jeffrey, why don't you tell us about Chizmas Ventures?
Well, Chizmas Ventures has really been spun out of a lifetime of business experience, starting with a career at IBM and being recruited out of IBM by Ross Perot to run a company in the massively parallel computer imaging space, which ultimately blew up. And Jeffrey Chizmas was sitting there trying to figure out what to do next and decided that, perhaps he would be best served doing something on his own where he could control his own destiny. So from that point on, I basically liquidated everything that I owned, which wasn't a lot, but it wasn't a little, and hired a couple of middle-level investment banking companies to help me find my first company, and looked at about 100 different companies. And it was interesting because having come from a career running the financial services industry sector at IBM, all of a sudden I found myself looking for a business that I wasn't going to get killed in because I was betting everything that I owned. And so I was purposely looking at low-tech businesses and ended up buying a company called Cider Mill Farms, which was a small pet company in the pet industry, which was like a $2 billion industry on the verge of consolidation. And so from a business perspective, represented a lot of really good opportunity. And from there, purchased two other pet companies, consolidated them, and sold them to Boston Capital, which was a nice liquidity day, and then decided to move from there. And since then, have purchased several other companies, including an injection molding company, a car dealership, did some real estate development, and most recently bought a car dealership. And so now, putting a fund together called Chizmas Ventures, to take in money from private investors and to specifically target the entrepreneur market to help entrepreneurs either spring out of companies to get started on their own who need a little extra mojo to get it going, or maybe some thought leadership, or companies that are beginning to emerge, particularly companies that represent disruptive opportunities, looking for companies who are interested in equity investments to help them fulfill their ambitions and grow their companies and ultimately be successful.
Are there particular industries that you like more than others?
My background is in consumer goods and in manufacturing, in the baking industry and in injection molding and in the automobile industry. So I'm interested in businesses along those lines, but just like everybody else, I'm interested in growing and having roots in the technology sector with IBM and Rome Corporation. I think that there are tremendous opportunities in technology. That you look at the convergence of new technologies, like with Apple, with their different apps and the low-cost barriers of entry to change the world. There's a lot of really interesting opportunities there. So I'm also interested in disruptive opportunities where the cost of entry isn't prohibitive, although it's significant, in dealing with smart people who just need some business guidance and money to get it running.
How involved do you like to get in these businesses?
Very good question. I try to limit the investments that I make to 4 or 5 at a time so that I can be involved in the strategic direction of the company. And I'm also really big on when you have a company that's emerging, right? And you got to get from point A to point B. The most important thing is to set the strategy and keep the train on the tracks.